Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Paint Party live stream. I'm so glad to have you with me here in the studio. I am excited to welcome you on Tuesday night. Usually we're here on Monday night, but here in the United States, yesterday was a holiday, and so we bumped it to this evening. If any of you were here yesterday, so sorry about that. I didn't realize it was the holiday until late. And so just decided to bump it as opposed to canceling completely. So thank you for those of you that are joining this evening on this irregular evening. So glad to have you. I am appreciative that you have chosen to spend some time with me in the studio with what I love to do so much, and that is learning to paint. This live stream is really laid back. It's kind of like an open house. You just pop in and pop out, stay as long as you'd like. You can participate in the live stream on the platform wherever you're watching through the comments. So feel free to ask questions, make comments, or to make suggestions as we go through the evening. A couple years ago, I started teaching myself to paint, and this weekly live stream is part of my Learn to Paint journey. So I try to set up a different painting for you every week so you can kind of see how I approach my painting process and how that develops over time. And I usually try to choose a little bit different subject matter every time. So I think last week we did the moon for the first time. It turned out really well, and that was a lot of fun. And then this evening we're actually going to do something really special. So let me switch over the camera. I'll get this camera set up for the canvas, and we'll continue with the live stream. But first, as I always forget, I'm going to put on my apron so that my clothing is protected. But let me switch you over here so that I can say hello to you directly as I get this set, and then I will switch over my other camera to the canvas. That way you don't have to get motion sick while I do that. All right, good evening. So glad to see you, Lola. Thanks as always for joining, especially on this kind of off day. I hope you had a great long weekend and got to spend time with those you love and enjoy the holiday. All right. And thanks, Mom and Dad, for joining up the hill, and Uncle Raul and Aunt Lana, if you are there. So glad to have you watching as well. All right, let's get started. Let me, before I forget, add the palette photo. I'll get this flipped around. Whoop. I'm going to have to back this up because we have a little bit larger painting this evening. 11 by 14. It's a little bit bigger. I should stick with 8 by 10s because they fit more easily. Man, I didn't realize I had to back up. You're not seeing all of this, but I'll plug in my camera before I forget here. I'm used to having the camera a little closer. All right, let's flip this over. There you can see my canvas. You can see the graph that I have put there. Let me show you our reference for this evening. All right, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing a sunset. You know how I hate sunsets, and they are challenging. All right, so you'll see on the left-hand side there the image with the graph over it for composition. You can see that I have placed the horizon actually right in the middle, which is not always the smartest compositional thing to do. Usually you want more sky or more horizon below the horizon, but for this particular painting, I felt that it would be it would do well set. Oh, I'm pulling all my, just a second. I want to get everything set. All my cords and things. All right. I think it will do well because the focus really is this kind of V shape here that are made by the clouds and then the reflection of the clouds. So the focus is right there in the center, And so that's what we want to create, and that's why I made that choice to set up the composition in this way. You can also see that the edge of the dock that protrudes out here is set right in these intersections, and the cloud lines are right across this line, and then they go this way. And so you'll see several strong points that basically line up with this graph layout. Okay, so let's jump in and get started. First, I want to get some paint on the palette. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, and we will put start with some ultramarine blue, which is kind of a staple. We'll put some white, which is also a staple, to diffuse any of this. And then I think we want to do we'll need a little bit of cerulean blue, but we'll kind of see how much we need of that. Oh, that's probably way more than we need. And what else? I'm going to need some gray, so let me put a little, actually I'm going to put some burnt umber on our palette here, so we'll have the blue and the burnt umber. I was going to do this one tone. I have already toned the canvas panel a little bit to not only tone down or to put a layer over the grid, but also give us kind of a tone to work on. So I think what I want to do is start furthest away, and I think we're going to start with the clouds. So let's see if we can mix some of this up. I'm not sure exactly what to do, but we'll figure it out as we go. I think we want to do, let's just take a large, like 1-inch flat brush, I think. Welcome to those of you joining the live stream. I'm so glad to have you. You are welcome to participate wherever you're watching us from. You can do so by participating, asking questions, making comments in the comments wherever you're watching. So glad that you've joined us. All right, it's really dry in the studio today. We've had a lot of rainy weather here in the Black Hills, but it is dry. The paint is drying fast, so I need to mix a lot more than I think, probably. What I'm trying to do, I'm mixing a little white to really desaturate or diffuse the color. So you'll see this kind of purple color. It looks very blue on your screen, but it's actually kind of a purple color. I put a little of the burnt umber in to warm it up, to bring a little more red in. And then this will basically be our cloud color. There's the red. Put a little bit more blue. Okay, let's just get some paint on this canvas. All right, we want to, I think, start up here. We'll just kind of get our composition in place. Need a lot of cloud cover there. The clouds go all the way up into the sky. They just kind of fade into the sky. Then right in here is kind of a spot of sky, so we'll see if we can just get some cover. And we come in here, we're gonna do this. Want to come across there. Again, this is the first kind of tone. Just get some paint on the canvas, cover a little bit. We'll have to do a couple of runs of this probably to get it fully covered, but it will help us lay in some of the composition. Okay, we need to come across here. There's kind of a line there, comes over to the trees, so we'll just kind of put that in. Then right here, kind of have some clouds going up there, a little bit of just yammering now. All right, I think we got basic shape. Now what we want to do is go down here, put a little more blue into here, and the red, and really, because we want it a little darker in the reflection, but we want basically the same color. So we're going to come down here. We're going to try to draw in, I think that's, we'll just see. See if I can draw upside down. Funny because it's lighter over here, but it's darker. Then we have the it's almost a perfect reflection, isn't it? I'm just going to cover some of this up because it's going to need to be covered by grasses anyway. So we'll take that all the way to the edge of the canvas. Oop. Okay. Then quiet this evening. We are at episode 103 tonight. Can you believe it? 103. My goodness. Put a little, just bring a little more white in there. We'll put just the suggestion of the well, not only the sky, but the dock as well. I just put a little more white in there, and we'll just kind of dab in this sky. Again, we'll have to come back, but we want to get everything kind of laid out in the right place, and then we can refine it as we go. All right, now I want to do the same. Bring just a little cerulean blue in. Here. And bring in some sky. This will all get, a lot of it will get painted over, but it gives us a little place to start. We'll just put this in, and we'll tone it over with some yellow and oranges, because the yellow and oranges won't are going to be very translucent. So, hey there, Bob G. So glad to have you joining. Hope you had a good weekend. Appreciate you popping in on the, I guess, the not regular day. It's kind of different to be doing this on a Monday as opposed to or on a Tuesday as opposed to a Monday. Just stepping back, not only to give the painting a little bit of time to breathe, but also to give me a chance to take some photos. All right. we have the majority of this set. So what I want to do now is put some of the color in. So let's do some add yellow, which is that bright, bright yellow. We'll do some orange, kind of a regular orange. And I don't know if we'll need a little burnt sienna, but that will give us a little darker if we need. And then some more white, because we'll want to diffuse this so it's almost like some of it we'll want right there, but then we'll also want some that is really bright. Okay. Now let's try this. You know how good I am with sunsets, he says sarcastically. So we'll do a little yellow, take just a little bit of white. I'll just mix it up just a little bit. Then we'll come in here. Again, I'm just looking at big images or big sections. This will come across here. It goes there. All right, and then we'll come right down in here. Looks like yes, it does. It looks like you could go right around the bend of the river, doesn't it? Yes, yes. I have an exciting adventure tomorrow, y'all. I am going to climb a new or hike a new hike that I haven't done before. I'm gonna climb a new mountain called Black Elk Mountain here in the Black Hills, and excited about that. I've wanted to do this hike for some time and haven't been able to, but tomorrow, hopefully, if the weather holds, we've been getting just random rain all throughout the last several weeks. It'll be like right now it's sunny again, but then we'll randomly get rain. So yeah, but if it's nice, maybe I'll get some actual reference photos I can use for our live stream. It'd be cool to paint local again. I'm actually planning to do, now I'm mixing a little white with this orange, which diffuses it almost to a peachy color, which again isn't showing up so well, but it'll give us kind of what we're going for here. So I'm going to put a little bit there. Then it starts coming in right in there, and we get that just all the way across the middle. And I'll just use this all the way out, cover most of the yellow again, because the yellow is so and the yellow and the orange are so translucent that they just don't really cover much of anything. So we'll have to do probably several coats of that, but I kind of want to just get it laid out in the right shape, in the right place, so we get a feeling of what's going on. I think we have it here. Yeah, see, on your screen, the yellow still really comes through, which is interesting because here it looks like it's covered, but I'm kind of pleased with where it's coming, or how it's coming. Though it's, doesn't usually, my clouds and sunsets don't always work out the way I want them to. So this is really okay. Now I want to come in here, cover this yellow, then before it's too covered up, I can still see a little bit of the gray, or a little bit of the graph here, but that's why I want to get all of this kind of in the right place before I do anything too much. And I want to take just a little bit of this. Oh, I'm sorry, I keep bumping the camera here. I want to say welcome to those of you that have joined in the last few minutes. I see a few more people popping in. So glad to have you. Thank you for kind of popping into my live stream. This is just the edge of that. It goes into the water. All right. And then I'm going to take, while I'm there, I'm just going to take some of this brown and some of this blue. Just mix it all up over here in kind of this dark muddy color. We'll lighten it just a tad, kind of a grayish, purple-ish. And then we'll put in the darker part of the we'll of course refine this, but again I just want to get the layout in. Kind of a basic place where it is, and I'm going to put some more dark down here at the bottom, just to cover up and give the, this is where our plants will be, so we'll just cover up a little more of the canvas that way. We start to get some cover. Okay, not bad for the first block in. What do y'all think? I'm going to step back again, give this a good minute to do some air drying, take a couple pictures, and then see where we need to go next. Because I think, yeah, we're half hour in and we have a good block in. Now we just really need to focus on that, refining that, and we should be good to go. Okay. me just take a look here. See. All right, I think we're in a good place. Now, I want to take some time to put in the horizon before it all disappears. That means I need probably this. Take a little bit of a smaller brush, a filbert brush. It's probably a 1/4 inch. And we'll mix some of this dark color. Again, almost like a gray color with the blue and the brown. And I'll start. So our grid line is there. You can barely see it through the right above these clouds here. And we actually want the horizon to sit slightly above the grid line. So I'm just going to kind of go across here, and sits down into the grid line over here. And again, I'm just looking at shapes right now. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but as we get kind of in the middle here, then it rises up to the above the line again. Come over. Need more paint. All right. Again, we just want the basic outline correct. Man, this paint is drying. It's so funny because obviously we have dry air up here, but some days it's not dry as fast at all. And then like this, I just went back here and this is already tacky paint on my palette, so I can't really keep mixing on there. You get those little almost like plastic or rubber paint rolls in your paint, and then they stick into your canvas because it's all kind of tacky. So I'm just gonna put a little detail right there and start to put in some of these put in some of these details. All right, and I'm going to lift this up like we did. And I'm going to put some of the darkest. Again, we're just suggesting the bushes down here, and then I'll come in with the green. And then when I lay the green on top of this dark kind of underlayer, then the green will really stand out because it'll just be highlighted, and I won't have to put as much detail in. Because the detail that is there will stand out a lot more. So that's what we're doing. All right. Gives us a good little start there. Okay. Not bad, ladies and gents. Okay. Now I think it's time to come back and do a second coat of this, because you can still see the graph lines at different spots, and I want to make sure all of that is covered. So I think we just go back basically, and we're doing very similar to the same thing we did from the beginning, but we are going to take some additional, now that I know the approach worked, it makes it a little easier. So, and we have everything in the place we want, more or less. So we're going to mix up this kind of that purple reddish color. I'm going to bring some white in and lighten it. This will be our cloud cover, our cloud color. I wonder if we should do, I think we should do this first. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to put this back in, the sky. You'll see that I'm covering what I just did, and that's okay, because we have it in place, and then we can do some, we can reestablish it easily, because you can always paint dark over light. So just come in here and put these clouds all the way down. The reason I'm doing this is because this is dark, and it'll dry darker than it is, so we may have to lighten it up when we do the final coat, but it's darker down here than it is in the sky, so I wanted to use that before I dilute the color too much with white. I just have to paint really fast because it is drying so quick. We want to come over here. And come up over here to do some this. Bring the clouds basically all the way over. We'll try to start to soften some of these edges a little bit. That'll give us a... With clouds, the more layers you can do, the better. Okay. Blend in some of the blue sky color over here. Painting the blue further in, then we'll just go up here and do the same thing. Covering up more than I need to here, but that will allow me then to come back in. I can put the clouds over this area, but my sky then kind of shines through. Okay. All right, it's starting to look like what it's supposed to. Now I want to come back, and this is all a game of values, that is darks and lights and the balance of one to the other. And I've said that over and over for 100 episodes almost, but it's so true. I mean, yes, there's color, but the more I can learn to see color as a tool or a outflowing of value, the better. I'm gonna have to switch my palette here pretty soon because I'm running out of space that is dry and I'm getting some crunchies in my paint. Okay, let me see if I can do some of this. That's what we really want. We want it almost blending into the sky at the top. We don't want it really to show any difference. That will help it look realistic. So we'll see. And I need let's see, there's a can't figure out where this is. I think this is it. That dark kind of a little bit there. And okay. Pretty good, y'all. All right, we're almost to 50 minutes. We are to 50 minutes. We're almost to an hour. So let me move. I'm surprised how few colors I've needed. Really, I've only needed 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 plus white. So I'm going to move this off a little bit off screen and mix more here. I want to now go back with the orange and really reestablish some of those edges with the orange of the orange clouds. Okay, let's see what we can do. I'm going to step back just a bit, see if I still like this. I do, but I really want to be able to finish this tonight. Don't want to carry it over into. So the challenge on here is, on these edges, is to, because it turns orange and blue make green, so I don't want it, I want kind of that purplish color that's the blend between the two in the sky. The paint gives us kind of a different mix than the sky does, because the sky gives us edges that are kind of purple into the blue, but the paint gives us green if we're not careful. So hey there, thanks so much for joining the live stream. So grateful to have you. Now we can put this back in a little bit. This, basically underpaint this again. And I'm going to take just a tad of white, mixed it over here. This will allow us to we want more and more white. take this on the edge of the same I want to do over here. One of the things that makes clouds believable, or really any kind of painting, is the contrast. When you have an edge that's dark and light, and the contrast of the two together, then really it causes the kind of that wow factor of, oh my goodness, that's what's going on here. So we don't want to lose that. And that's one thing I want to continue to develop my ability to. There's a guy on YouTube who's a master at this, in my opinion, named Chuck Black. And he does wildlife paintings particularly, but he does sunsets and sunrises like nobody's business. They're just vibrant and takes your breath away, and that's really what I want to learn, to figure out, because once you, I mean, it's not terribly difficult. It is What I did here was just mix a little blue, a little white with the orange, and that gives us this kind of buffer color. That I hope will work really beautifully into these edges. Okay. Now I need to this oil, it is acrylic. It is acrylic. That's why you see it drying so quickly, and I have to paint pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. And we have to do lots of layers. Absolutely. What medium do you paint in typically? I'll have to check out your channel when I get done here. Ah, perfect. Yeah. Yep, I do acrylic as well. I started with acrylic primarily because it was inexpensive and it was quick drying, because I knew nothing when I started and I wanted to develop some basic skills before I tackled oil. Everyone says once you switch to oil, though, it's so much easier once you learn it, that it's just, you won't ever want to go back. So I am sure. Oh, that's very kind. I'm glad you popped in. It's just a matter of consistency, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, you have to have an eye, but everybody has a different perspective, and that's what's the value of the artistic expression, is your perspective. But really, I've just been doing this for 2 years, 3 years, almost every single week, and that's what starts to make a difference. So I want to just really encourage you, wherever you are. When I started, I mean, the first painting I did is laying on the floor behind me, and it is a mess. So I have so many sunsets that haven't worked, that I'm still, even some I'm still working on. And even now, I don't really know what I'm doing. It's a trial and error. Now, you get a little bit, in my opinion, you get a little bit better with your hypotheses as you go. I mean, you get a little more, you kind of sometimes know, oh, that's not going to work, or this will work. But it all is in a lot of ways, it's a guess. Like this, I just took some burnt sienna and it worked. It's kind of working. I'm shocked, honestly, because I thought I was going to have to do something else, but gave me the tone I wanted. And so, yeah. Kind of crazy how that works. Oh, you're very kind. You're very, very kind. I was at a cookout a couple of days ago, and a friend said something similar, like, "Oh, I mean, you were good, but you've improved a lot." And it's funny because I mean, I know objectively I can look and say, "Oh, this is better than it used to be, or this is better than it was." You know, like this painting is better than others I've done. So I can see the growth, but when you're in it, you don't really, I don't know, it's just kind of a slow, steady process. But that's what encourages me, because I see the what feels like little growth to me, and I'm like, "Oh, that has made a really big difference." And so I know if I just, like where I am now, I don't feel particularly accomplished, but as I am confident that if I keep going, then I'll improve, continue to improve, and I'll look back in however many months or years and say, oh my goodness, it's dramatic. So encourage you to do the same, whatever your discipline is, or whether it's painting or not. It's a good principle no matter what it is you're trying to develop a new skill with. All right, I don't want to overpaint, but part of me is like really loving what's happening here, and so I'm like, I want to just be careful again not to overpaint. Okay. Just trying to blend in some of these edges. See, if this was oil, this would still be wet, so I could blend in a little bit easier, but that's all right that it's not. We can still do what we need to do. You're absolutely right. Isn't that the truth? Most of my first paintings are kind of, I mean, it's covered by the reference photo here, but they're up on the wall right behind my easel, so I can look at them all the time, off and on. And then I have others actually in my home. Some of my very earliest paintings are up in my bathroom and my hallway and different places, so I can really I see them often. And yeah, you're right, it is helpful to see the growth. This morning I was looking at some paintings in my kitchen and recognizing the growth, and I was admiring, like, even though there's growth, like, I did some really cool work, and it was really it was very encouraging to do that. I don't. I used to. I have like some water off to the side that, to clean brushes. So sometimes I live in the mountains, and so it's very dry here. So I'll put a little water in just to make it run more smoothly. But I don't use a mixing medium. I did when I first started, because I got actually, that's a good question at this time, because I got so frustrated with not being able to paint clouds effectively because I couldn't blend the way I wanted to. But now, fortunately, and that's a good thing I should take time to recognize, like, I have grown enough in my ability to use the medium, the acrylic medium, not mixing medium, to where I don't really feel the need for it. Every once in a while, I'll use a medium, like if I want a thicker, like, finish, I'll sometimes use a mixing medium in that regard. But yeah, I don't, not in this sort of a setting. But yeah, if you're early in your game, don't hesitate to use it. if it helps. I just never got proficient enough with it to where I used it a little bit and then it just was more hassle than it was worth. And so I just didn't do it then. Oh, for sure. I really appreciate you contributing. I love being able to chat with people while I paint. And it helps me really think through what I'm doing sometimes. Oh, sorry about that, y'all. My phone camera died. Not died, but when I get a text, the pop-up notification periodically cuts that out. Just, trying to soften some of these edges up here, but it's almost like some sun rays. There we go. That's really starting to come together. Yes, yes, yes. Making me happy. Okay. Let's take a step back. I really want to look at, because we're really down to the detail stage. And I want to figure out what is actually going to finish this painting. So I'm going to step back several feet, take a look. I think it is the edges. The composition looks good. Yep, the composition looks good. Now it is just the edges. So first thing I want to finish is the dock. So what I think I need to do is come in and blend this in and like really put in that a definitive edge there. That is going to be blue and purple. It's kind of a purplish gray color. So we'll put the ultramarine blue. We'll do a little burnt sienna, or burnt umber, I mean. Okay, this gives us that. Then a little bit more purple. Then we just need to lighten it up with some white. All right, now we need to get a little, this is going to be really pretty bright. Maybe it's too bright. Okay, let's try it. The difficulty, one of the difficulties again with acrylic is they dry darker. So you put them on and you think you have the right color, and then but it's pretty close to what was there. So we'll color in these clouds. Then we need to come more this direction. We want the edge of it in the water. Then we want to come from out here. It needs to come more like that. So let me see if I can fix some of this. This is actually the purple, kind of purple color I want to blend into these over here. this purple, this blue now has a little bit more of the burnt umber in it, so it looks a little more red in its purple. So again, remember what I said earlier about this whole thing is a game of values. It's adjusting the values and improving the values. So yeah, anyway. Got 30 minutes to get this one wrapped up, y'all. Let's do it. Starting to get really warm up here in the attic studio. I'm going to turn on a fan. Ooh, I just noticed all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, I'm really toasty. messing up again. Like, oh, I can just mix these colors. No, you can't. Blue and yellow don't make a good pair unless you want green. Unless you want green. Just doesn't work. Okay, now we're gonna go lighter. We wanna reestablish this edge of the clouds over here. Okay, we want some pretty bright yellow over here. We just want a little bit. We'll do This is where it gets challenging for me because I don't know when it's, I don't know how to stop when it's done. So but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Then I still think my dock is off balance a little bit. I think it is. Just go more like that. Okay. Yeah, I think that's better. Now, I need to take some more brown, mix that in the same. See if we can fix this. What do y'all think? A little bit. Then I need to come in here. See. Okay. Kind of put that in. We just keep adjusting. So, man, we only had 10 minutes. Ugh. It's not going to get done, y'all, because we haven't even touched the grass. But I need to just limit myself to doing only 8x10s on this live stream because they're a little easier to get done. But this one was such an interesting. I'm going to turn this way because it's easier for me left-handed to do the edge of the dock. So I'm going to do Oh man. Felt that this one needed a larger canvas than 8 by 10, so that's kind of why I was decided to do the larger one. All right, well, I hope you all have enjoyed our time together. I'm not quite done, but the problem is I start these every week and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 paintings within iShot that are partially finished from previous live streams. And so that's why I am reticent to, or I really want to complete the ones we do, but gotta take what we can get. Okay. Oh, that's kind. I have been doing this for the last 2 years, almost every week. So I think that helps a little bit, but I totally, and sometimes I wonder if I would get like better results, like taking longer time. And I do, like the paintings I do in studio that are not on camera, those often take hours and hours. For example, which is a good segue into the end of the show, if you want to see what I'm doing in the studio when we're not on camera, follow me on Instagram at Stephen E. Rice. I just did a painting of my great-grandfather's barn for my mother, and by example, that took me probably 10 to 12 hours total studio time to do. So yeah, the ones we do in here in the live stream are a little more consolidated, if I could say that, I guess, by necessity. Not sure what color these just going to put some lines in here and may need to redo this dock, but it gives us the idea. I want to say thank you to all of you who have stuck with me the last couple of hours, and as always, I appreciate having your company here. We will meet again, not Tuesday night, but next time we will meet on our normal Monday evening at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, so you can plan accordingly if you'd like. All right. I'll kind of have to fix up some of this, but yeah, that doesn't quite look right. The dock doesn't quite look right, but we'll get it. I'll just keep. This one reminds me of the boat in Lisbon that I did a couple weeks ago, where I had to repaint the boat over and over and over and over and over. So, all right, well, we'll come in, we'll finish these bushes, but for now, I need to come back here and redo these trees, finish anything I'm going to do on the sky. But for this evening, I think we are complete to the level of my skill. All right, I'm going to bring you back here while I move the camera to say goodnight, and going to do that. All right. As I said earlier, I'm grateful for all of you joining me. Makes this project or this process so much more enjoyable to share it with you all. So I want to, let me scoot that back there a little bit. I want to say thank you for joining me. It's been so much fun as always, and we will be back next week on Monday evening, 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern for episode 104 of the Paint Party live stream. So I'll look forward to seeing you then. Until then, have a great evening and a wonderful week. Take care, everybody.